Question: which of these two polar bears will win the fight? Who will win in a fight between a dolphin and a shark? And can a crocodile take down a hippo? The crocodile-hippo rivalry has to be one of the most vicious out there. In the middle of the Serengeti, there's a lake called Hippo Pool. Why? Well, we think that's pretty self-explanatory if you look at this video. As we all probably know, hippos are very territorial. They don't like any intruders inside their pool, and this unlucky crocodile wandered into the wrong pool, and the hippos were not happy about it. Normally, a crocodile knows to stay away from hippos because it knows its jaws aren't strong enough to bite through a hippo's thick skin. But in this case, the group of hippos attacked and almost killed the crocodile. In the middle of the video, everything got quiet. Too quiet. We thought it's over. Luckily for the croc, we were wrong. It managed to narrowly escape with its life after getting passed from one hippo's mouth to another. Something tells us this crocodile will never enter the hippo pool again. Next up, we have the hare and the wolves. A mother wolf living near the North Pole faces a major problem: finding food. Up north, food is so scarce that wolves are willing to hunt for hundreds of miles for a single meal. And that meal has just arrived. A white hare appeared. The mother and her pups spotted it and were immediately on the hunt. A small meal doesn't necessarily mean an easy meal. After all, a hare runs at 40 miles per hour. So catching a hare without the proper strategy is difficult. Even though they may run at roughly the same speed, catching prey in the distance is difficult. So the wolves devise a plan. They'll attack from different angles and try to corner the hare. After a few close calls, one of them being so close the wolf could almost taste the hare's tail, the hare escapes. But will this second hare be as lucky as the first one? Having learned their lesson, the pack is now hunting down the helpless prey. It doesn't stand a chance. Given the first hare managed to narrowly escape by changing direction quicker than the wolves, that strategy won't work in this situation. There are simply too many wolves. Even though the wolves beat the hare, we're going to say that half a dozen wolves against this one little rabbit is not really a fair chase. The rivalry between sharks and dolphins has been raging for centuries, and when a shark gets an opportunity to kill a dolphin, it'll take it gladly. That's because dolphins can smash that like button just like you should if you haven't done so already. But no, in all seriousness, it's because dolphins can be a feast for sharks thanks to all their meat and blubber. Therefore, it's very common to see dolphins with bite marks over their body. To escape their predators, dolphins will often hunt for their food in the shallow water. There, these sea mammals are not at risk of an attack by a great white shark. The only predators lurking in shallow waters are tiger sharks. Great whites are ambush predators. They'll attack quickly from the depths before their prey has a chance to react. To combat this, dolphins have evolved to communicate using echolocation. Their brains send signals that give them a clear picture of the world around them. This way, they know when a predator is nearby. However, this is not a foolproof system. To fully protect themselves, the dolphins swim in pods. When in a group, the dolphins communicate with one another to reduce the chance a shark will surprise them. And now comes the fight for the throne. What'll happen when an ordinary male lion challenges the alpha male lion for the throne? Well, in the end, there will be lots and lots of blood, that's for sure. Here you can see a young but clearly less experienced lion challenging the alpha for a chance to mate with the females. Not only did the alpha defend his title, but the females also started biting the back of the challenger's mane. After a tiresome fight, the challenger gave up. He realized the alpha could not be beaten, so he started retreating. Then all of a sudden, he lunged back at the alpha when he wasn't looking, and this is where things got bloody. Not only did the ruling alpha bite his face off, but the females were also there to finish him off. Buddha bee and Japanese hornet. This is a fight you never thought you'd see. Japanese hornets are the most violent and dangerous insect on the planet. They're so large that one Japanese hornet can kill thousands of bees before tiring. Some hornet champions have even managed to take down entire beehives. But that's not the case with the Buddha bee. These bees are rare. They live only in a few parts of the world, and they produce the best honey. When the hornets get hungry, the beehives of Buddha bees are the very first they raid. First, they'll send out a scout to mark the territory, but these bees are smart. They won't let it fly away. They tease the hornet to come inside the hive. Once there, one of the bees will take on the role of sacrificial lamb. Once the hornet kills one bee, the others swarm on the scout. Their job is to cook the hornet alive. Once they've completely surrounded the hornet, the bees start to vibrate their bodies. This raises their temperature. They need to bring the temperature to 115 degrees and the wasp will start to cook alive. However, this technique has only been developed by the Buddha bees, and other bees are still at risk of going extinct because of these hornets. And then we have Scar versus his hyena minions. We know from the previous video that you should never challenge the alpha lion. After all, he's not the king of the jungle for nothing. However, a band of about 30 hyenas decided to try their luck on this lion. What could go wrong? A lot. A lot could possibly go wrong. All the lion had to do was set an example of one of them, and the rest would fall back and retreat. As you can see, many tourists are waiting to see how the match will go down. The hyenas are trying desperately to defeat the king of the jungle. Some of them are trying to bite him on the back, but he's too quick. As soon as he senses a hyena biting, he turns around and attacks. Luckily, he managed to kill one of the hyenas, and as we've said, the rest simply fall back and retreat. Grizzlies are no exception when it comes to alpha male fights. One driver caught a rare video of two grizzlies fighting to see who was the alpha. After much growling and grunting, they lock in and start biting. In a relatively short duel, the bear on the right grabs the lower lip of the bear on the left and tackles his opponent to the ground. It's strange how grizzlies know to retreat once they've been beaten. Looks like this dude went home crying for mommy. Next comes the iguana in a snake den. A group of 4 iguanas must escape a den of snakes before reaching safety. The den is filled with racer snakes. Although faster, the iguana stands no chance against so many predators. The first 3 young iguanas failed to make it across and were devoured by the snakes. But there's a 4th one. This iguana waits for the perfect opportunity and makes a run for it. He makes it across the first barrier and stops to take a breath. Knowing that the racer snakes can't see it, if it doesn't make any sudden movement, it rests without even flinching. And then it's on the run again. Sadly, the predators catch up to it. When it seems like all is lost, the iguana slips out of the snake's grasp and makes another run for it. This time it succeeds. Let's not forget about the gorilla fight. The visitors at the zoo didn't know what to do when one of the gorillas in the enclosure ran towards the glass. But this was just a diversion. The real problem was the alpha in the back. He wanted to challenge the king of the enclosure, and we all know how that'll go down. After proving who's the true leader, the challenger backed down. The polar bear fight has to be the cruelest test of nature that we've ever seen. In the middle of a mating ritual, one giant polar bear had to stop and fight off a challenger. The challenger had picked up the female scent and was willing to fight to the death for a chance to mate. The challenger went home empty-handed, but other suitors were waiting for a fight. Taking all of them down, completely bloody and beaten down, the polar bear could walk away, knowing that no one else had mated with his female. YouTube thinks you should watch this video next.